Um,
You can fart whenever you want.
dude, I'm farting constantly. I'm shitting myself 24/7. It's been real. It's been fantastic.
I'm actually spending $3,000 a month on just new Dockers every week or so.
My budget in general is constrained, but I still have to save a lot of room for the
One, two,
Dockers.
three.
Oscar Wieners, Oscar Wieners, Oscar Wieners. These boys are the Oscar Wieners.
Yum, yum.
Oscar Wieners.
Welcome to Oscar Wieners.
Wow. This is incredible.
The only show on the internet where Hollywood's biggest night
What about
um
it?
eats beans like they're going out of style.
God, so nourishing.
Yeah.
Truly. Truly the most nourishing.
I am uh uh Franz.
Oh, and I'm Hans. Not
Nice.
Hanz, Handz. Like, keep your hands off my fucking beans.
Right. Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm Michael. He's Ander.
Yeah.
And this is a podcast where every week we pick a best picture wiener at random and try to figure out if it's best picture wiener thee. And this week we are talking about the third ever
No.
best picture wiener.
Unreal.
It is Lewis Milestone. And
That's
this
his
movie
name?
is kind of a milestone.
Huh.
His adaptation of the Eric Maria Remarque novel, All Quiet on the Western Front. Yeah, so this is the 1931 Best Picture winner. And it is about a couple of kids. Like, how old are they? I mean, I guess they're supposed to be
Sad.
like 17, 18.
Yeah.
Um, who during World War One buy into the propaganda and are like, yeah, we're gonna go defeat, I don't know, whoever was fighting the French.
I think they were, at least the characters in this film are directly opposed to the French. They're on
Right.
those front lines.
Yeah, so then they go to the front line. It's a very episodic movie, uh, where I don't know, you're just like following these guys. Like they go through basic training. Uh, they're on the battlefield. We can get into more specifics,
Mhm.
like little moments that stood out. But um, Andrew,
War.
you've read this book.
I have. I really hope you don't press me to deliver anything substantial from it. It's been a long while. And I don't quite know how it stacks up to the movie because I really should probably reread it if I'm going to make any sort of assessment on that Western Front.
Nice.
Thanks. Um, but yes, I have read it. I think for a summer reading project.
Kind of, I do remember this book being assigned for like a middle school summer reading
Yeah,
thing. And I'm like, seeing this movie, I'm like, I never read the book, but seeing this movie, I'm like, was that appropriate?
it is PG, which is very funny to me. Like
But like a
at the
guy's
scene where it's just
hands get blown off and
yeah,
they're
that
on
guy's
like,
hands get blown off. There's a turret that's just gunning soldiers down. It's like TV PG. Like, all right, I guess they just didn't
okay,
have that back
Tubi.
then. Okay, Tubi. God, the amount of first of all, shout out to Tubi. This is a pro Tubi podcast. Thank you for showing us movies for free. The amount of times an incredibly heartbreaking or impactful moment was interrupted by a fucking T-Mobile ad was
By
too many to
six
count.
consecutive 30-second ads where you're like, is
Yeah.
this ever going to be over?
Yeah, it was the trench scene where it's incredibly emotional and then all of a sudden it's just like fucking Whole Foods, get your goddamn turkeys for Thanksgiving. And I'm like, Thanksgiving's over. Show me the fucking war.
Yeah. So what did you think of this movie?
I would file this under the category of brilliant for its time. Like, I do think it's one of these groundbreaking movies that probably pushed the mold and moved the genre forward and made a big statement and splash when it came out. And I don't know how well it's aged. I think there's a lot of aspects that I like, a lot of things that I don't like as much. Um, I think the characters are rather thin. I think they're not there's not a lot of focus on them as individuals. It's more a focus on them as soldiers, which I think is incredibly ironic since it is an anti-war movie. It's like I want to see these as real people with real stories. There's a somewhat focus on Paul, one of I guess who's the main character when he comes home. But outside of that, I feel like some of the like there's there are not that many strong character moments in my opinion.
The way the movie's kind of structured is interesting because it's like you don't really know Paul is like kind of the central character until like an hour in.
Longer than that, even like
Yeah,
until the last 30 minutes of the movie, even.
right. Um, but I do actually what I do love though about I think this movie's like I do think it holds up. I think it holds up today, and I think it's actually impressive to think about it coming out like almost 100 years ago. It's kind of crazy that they made this
Yeah,
movie.
without a doubt.
Yeah, because it's so like well made. There's so much like really like beautiful filmmaking and like really like just like beautiful like dolly shots and like just like these big battles are like staged so like beautifully. Um,
I agree.
but what I love about the early parts of the movie, like in the classroom, um, it's all these guys, including Paul. I'm not gonna name. It's just a bunch of
Bunch of
they're
guys.
like what you're saying. They're
It's
like
a
a
bunch
little
of
bit
guys.
faceless. Yeah, it's a bunch of guys and Paul. Um, and but what I love about it is like as their teacher is telling them like, here's why you should join the war effort. You have to join now, like while you're young. Blah blah blah. It's like it's cutting to close-ups of maybe like five or six boys, and like then it's going into like these like visions they're having of like what they think the war will be like or how they'll be
Mm,
praised when they come back or like what their parents will how happy their parents will be about them joining. Um I'm just like this feels very like modern.
yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah. And that early part is interesting too, just because like using like these guys having like all their like dreams of what the war will be like. It's sort of like to me it like wraps together the professor being like, you have to give your like you are not an individual. You are just like a body for the fatherland.
Hmm.
Um, but then it's wrapping in like, no, these boys are individuals who like have their own like personal dreams about what it will be like. And just like the way those are thwarted and the way that like they all basically become the same once they are in war. Like they're all
Mm,
experiencing the same just hellish shit. Anything they could have thought it would be, anything like for them personally is just destroyed.
yeah, I, I like that take on it. Do you want to get into some of the details of this film? Like why? Like if I'm just some Joe Schmo and I'm sitting there on the couch and I'm thinking I got Tubi. Let's scroll through and see what's going on. Why should I pick All Quiet on the Western Front? Do you think this is one of your favorite war movies?
No.
Okay.
But like I think this is a really important movie to watch. Honestly, I think it's an important movie. I think everybody should probably see this movie.
I would
Um,
recommend it. Yeah.
yeah. And also like watching it, I can just see the ways that like I wrote like this movie reminded me of Full Metal Jacket,
Mm,
like during the basic training scenes.
yeah.
The way the trench scenes are shot and the battles reminded me of Paths of Glory, which is another Kubrick movie that he made like in the 50s, which is about World War One. Like I'm
Mm,
just like he's just like kind of taking stylistically how this movie should look from All Quiet on the Western Front.
yeah.
Um, even like when Paul goes home, it reminded me of Hurt Locker, which is like the only thing that makes sense to this guy anymore is like war.
I think I've learned something about myself when watching this. I think a more impactful version of a war movie is when the war is at home, like when the soldiers come home. Because I think that there is a brief stint where Paul does come home and he realizes that he doesn't fit in and nobody really understands his plight or the war in general. Um, and I think that might have been the most impactful part of the movie for me. And I think it's the reason why I really loved the best years of our lives so much. That's all that focuses on, and Miss Miniver for that matter.
That I think I completely agree with that. I think war movies kind of jump to another level when those people come home, when like these enlisted men come home, because you're
Mm-hmm.
able to see like the toll that war took and like how they can't really reintegrate into the world.
Right. I think that's what makes it at least more relatable to me
Yeah.
as an audience member, and also I think it sort of it eschews the trappings of glorifying like these big battle scenes or action sequences. Like there's no glorification or sensationalization of the war. It's just all the tragedy at its purest and simplest form, where it's just the simple matter of your mom doesn't recognize you because you're wearing your soldier's uniform, or your father thinks that he knows the war better than you do, even though you've been in the trenches. Like that kind of stuff is what really moves me.
Yeah, totally. I completely agree. Um,
And I think All Quiet on the Western Front has that. It's just in small quantities, where something like Miss Miniver, I feel like, is a really, I think, frankly, a more impactful story just because the whole thing takes place at home.
I think maybe when Paul comes home, that actually is where the movie jumps up to great for me. Whereas like
Mm-hmm.
before that, I'm like, and also where it becomes uh relevant still, like today, versus
Yes.
like watching it before that, the rest of the movie, I'm like, whoa, this is like kind of really impressive that this movie is like so anti-war in 1930, and also like even just like the filmmaking feels so modern. Like that's the stuff that's drawing my attention. But yeah, like once Paul comes home, I'm like, oh wait, this is still like they said it almost 100 years ago, and it's still like this is still how it is. This is still what it feels like.
Yeah, without a doubt. Um, I do think some of the only thing that taints that portion where Paul comes home is I do think some of the messaging, the anti-war sentiment, is a little heavy-handed. Like he comes back and addresses his old high school class and his old high school teacher, who's like, "Here's Paul home from the war. Like Paul, tell them about how great everything is and how you should go fight for your fatherland." And he's like, "War sucks. War is ass, and you shouldn't go." Naturally, and then
Yeah.
his the anti-war speech is like definitely very concrete and in your face, and it's like you kind of don't really need to hold my hand about it. You can let me give me the puzzle pieces, let me put it together. I felt like it was just a little bit like it just a little too in your face in my opinion.
I also agree, and I just chalk that up, I guess, to like it was just a different time. Like this
Yeah.
is, and also like I know this definitely isn't the first war movie ever made. I mean, we're gonna watch Wings in the next few months, which is
Yeah.
also a war movie. I don't know what that movie is like, but um, like the yeah, I just was like, even some of the acting, like there's some moments of like when it's like shit's really going crazy, and they're like the guys are like literally screaming like stuff where you're like beyond just screaming, just yelps, like they're like
Yeah.
screaming like words where you're like, I get it. You don't have to like say, you don't have to say this like exact thing that I was thinking.
War is hell amongst the earth. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, you don't have to. No one would say that
Yeah.
in
Like
the moment.
it's a it's a movie that has a thesis and like keeps telling you its thesis, but like
Yeah.
again, to me I'm just like, well, honestly, maybe in 1930 people didn't really like think of war that way yet.
Yeah. Like as much as so I do think this movie's shining scene, so to speak, is the scene in the trench where that is Paul, right? Where he stabs the French soldier.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Spoilers for All Quiet on the Western Front, I
Yeah,
guess.
sorry.
But he's trapped in this trench, and then he sees all these soldiers running over him, and then someone also ducks into the trench for cover, and then he stabs him. It's a French soldier,
Yeah.
and immediately he's just a wave of regret washes over him, um, and he's kind of pleading with this almost dead, maybe dead body, where he's like, I'm gonna write to your wife and children, like I'm so sorry. And listen, I've never been to war, don't plan on going. Fingers crossed. But
Yeah.
I can't imagine you'd be in that scenario and actively delivering some sort of soliloquy. As beautiful as the scene was and as moving as it was, I can't imagine he'd be like talking to himself incessantly. Maybe he would be. I don't know. I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't speak out of turn, but it felt dramatized, which is fine. It's a movie, but still, it was again a little bit heavy-handed.
I agree. Like, yeah. It's just it's the kind of scene that you wouldn't see in a movie now, where it's like a character's like excessively talking to himself, where you're like, do
Yeah,
people do this?
it's dramatic and moving, but it still just doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
Which I wish. I think if it had both of those things, it would be a masterpiece. And I don't think it has both of those things.
Yeah. This movie's like, but this movie's really good, I think, at like creating these little like short stories within it.
Mhm.
Like that's a short story where it's like
Yeah,
almost like a horror movie where he's stuck in the trench or this like uh hole in the ground
big
that like
divot.
a
Yeah, it's
mortar
literally just a
hole.
hole. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, and it's just like a horror movie where he's stuck with this dying man that he killed or stabbed and is will have killed once he dies. Um, yeah. And even and then there's like the boots stuff
yeah. Little
where
boots
like
vignette.
um in the movie like he has a friend who is dying and another guy wants the boots and Paul's like he's still alive, like he can't take his boots.
And this is the guy. I do think it's the same guy who was bragging about his uncle's boots that he gave him right in the beginning.
I can't remember.
They were in some barracks, like getting ready to
Yeah.
be deployed, and they were like, "My uncle gave me these boots." And they're like, and the other guy was like, "Well, can you get them out of my face, please?"
Yeah. Uh and then like that friend who with the boots, he dies. Paul takes the boots, gives them to the other guy who wanted them. And then like you just see like a little montage of like he has the boots, he's like really happy, and then he dies in battle. And then another guy has the boots and he dies too. And
Yeah,
it's just like I, what I love about this movie, a lot of the war movies we've watched are kind of about this. Even like Hurt Locker, where it's like um war really, and maybe I've said this in other episodes where we've talked about war movies, but like war really, there's no there's no nuance to it. It's like you're either alive or you're dead.
yeah. Simple math.
Nations fighting, politics really goes out the door when like you have a gun and that person has a gun over there and we're shooting at each other.
Yeah,
And it's like who's gonna die?
right.
And it's like Paul coming back to his city or town or whatever. He's like, none of this makes sense to me anymore because how do I just like get, I mean, he's on leave. He's not like coming back for good, but like, he's like, if I eventually come home, how am I going to readjust to this? How am I just going to like be a student again or like get a job? Like,
Hmm.
it, that like doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Be a postman? Maybe you could be a
Yeah.
postman.
Yeah. Be a postman, then become like a fucking asshole once you get a little power, like fucking Strauser or whatever the fuck his name is. What's
Yeah.
his name?
Himmelstolz. I do like
Stoltz.
I liked that little vignette of he's this cheery postman who in the beginning of the movie he's like, "Well, I've signed up and I'm going off to war. I was in the reserves and now they're pulling me up." And he is a sergeant, so he immediately outranks all these younger guys who come in and they're like, "Oh, hey, Himmelstolz, it's like our old postman." And he's like, he's pissed immediately. He's like, "Back away from me! I'm your superior officer. Get in the barracks and go to sleep. It's 2 p.m." Well, all this shit. And
Yeah.
he's basically brutal to them. And I like when they reconvene later on in the war in that trench, in that bunker that they built. And he's trying to order them around again. And they're like, basically just like, yeah, fuck off, Himmel Stoltz, because he hasn't seen combat. It's almost like the hierarchy has shifted because even though they're low ranking soldiers, they've been out on the front lines actually fighting the war. And now Himmel Stoltz comes in with his high rank and he's trying to order them around and clean the place up. And they're like, fuck you, dude.
Paul even has that line where he's like Himmelstoltz is like, I'm gonna have you all court-martialed. Like if you don't stand like for your superior officer. And Paul's like, court-martial me. There's another bombardment coming tonight. I'd like to get out of it.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Jail would be jail could be nice.
Yeah. I'd probably get fed every day.
Yeah, they'd feed you in jail. There's no
Yeah.
rat, or maybe fewer rats, probably.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the bunker scene when they're trapped in the bunker and then like all the shit is falling on them and then like the rats everywhere? They're like, rats! Like stomp all the rats.
I found it like upsetting. I'm just like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like you're just like stuck here. You're stuck with these guys. All of you are starving.
Yeah, it is bleak.
What'd you think?
That was probably the first like bleak moment of the movie
Yeah.
where you're like, this sucks. This is only World War One. Jesus Christ. There's a whole nother ass war.
Yeah. Didn't even know there was gonna be a sequel.
No. I forget about that too. I'm like, oh, 1930. They had no idea, huh?
Yeah.
When did Cavalcade come out?
I think it was at like 32 or 4. Hitler loved it. So.
Yeah, Hitler went nuts over it. It is funny that that came out after this. This feels so much more forward thinking and better than Cavalcade.
So Cavalcade came out 3 years after this.
Okay.
This movie, I got this from Wikipedia, so you know, but this movie was banned in Germany by
Interesting.
the Nazi Party, who hadn't
Tracks.
completely taken control, but you know they were a thing.
Yeah.
Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's second in command, and I think he was like the head of like the propaganda Nazi department or whatever the fuck.
God, what a job title.
Yeah, apparently there was the German premiere in Berlin. Some Nazis and Joseph Goebbels disrupted the screening by setting off stink bombs, throwing sneezing powder, and releasing
Sneezing
white
powder?
mice in the theaters. Eventually escalating to attack audience members perceived to be Jewish, and they were repeatedly yelling "Juden film," Jewish film, while doing this.
Who did
Normal
this?
guys,
Him?
huh?
Just him?
Joseph Goebbels and just like a bunch of like Nazi like brown shirts or whatever, which I guess there's like kind of regular like enlisted guys or just like almost like their version of police, maybe. I don't know.
I know this is certainly an understatement, but what fucking losers?
They're such fucking dorks.
Like, this is
Literally,
so
like
lame.
yeah, throwing stink bombs. What are you
Stink
fucking
bombs?
10
What are we-
years old? Fucking virgin. Well, what's funny though about this, it's written by I think it was written by I think Eric. What's his pants? He's German, right?
I don't know. I mean, his name sounds actually, can we let's do a quick.
He was German.
He was German. Oh,
He was
interesting.
born in Osnabrück, Kingdom of Prussia, the German Empire.
Oh, how about that?
Um, so like but what's funny about this movie being like based on a German novel is like all these guys like it takes place in Germany, but like these guys sound like they're from like the Bronx.
Which is a little silly.
But that's just like that's
But I
just
guess
the
that's
movies,
I guess that's just movies. But yeah,
that's
that
like how
was-
like in like the 40s and 50s and 60s a little bit like Nazis in World War II movies like were always like British for some reason.
yeah, and that also you can there is a German accent. Like you can have an English speaking German person.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, it was a little bit it also made it a bit confusing, frankly, because there were I often forgot that there were German soldiers. In fact, there were portions in the beginning where I thought perhaps they were bouncing back and forth between the American army and the German army, or the British army and the German army, or something. But no,
Yeah.
it's just they were German soldiers the whole time.
Yeah.
But they talk like this. See, and we're off to go to war, fight for the fatherland. See.
If I could just get my hands on one dame, it would make the whole war worth it, see?
They don't really they don't really close the loop on the whole finding a dame portion. Do they?
I wanted to talk about that section I find that section very sad, especially Paul when he sleeps with so these like three or four guys, they're like swimming one day. They see like three I think they're French, right? Because they're
Yeah.
speaking French. Yeah. There's three like French young ladies who are like on the banks of this like little river or whatever, and they're like calling to them. The men are like hooting and hollering. The women don't really seem interested, but then the men are like, one of the guys just pulls like bread and sausage out of his ass. They're in the water and they're naked.
Yeah,
And he's like, "Hey, I got bread, I got food." And they're like, "Oh, we actually want that."
I wrote down the same exact thing. I'm like, where the fuck did he pull this food from?
It's so
It's
funny.
wet.
That's the thing too. It's so funny because like they're like, "Oh, actually, we're interested now. Come over." And then the men start swimming over, and like the guy's getting the water or the bread and the sausage like in this. Is this water or is it flowing or is it just like a stream just with like dirty water in it? I'm like,
It
even
seems like a
still, it's wet.
pond.
It's wet now, and now you have wet bread.
I guess it's better than no bread, but
That's true. That's
still.
true. That
But
actually shows my privilege.
my question is more why did he have it than why did they accept it?
Yeah.
Like imagine being starving, being a soldier, not getting enough rations, and then thinking like, oh, I have a full loaf of bread and some salami. Let me bring it to the pond for a swim. What an idiot. What are we doing?
Yeah, then three of them, the guy with the bread and sausage, they sort of leave without him. And then they
Yeah.
go over, they cross the pond to sleep with these women. But Paul's scene with the woman, first of all, I like how it's shot where it's like they're off screen in bed, and then you're just kind of seeing like a shadow, almost like of like a bed frame, and Paul is
Yeah.
like on the wall, and Paul is talking to the woman, being like I'm I will never forget you, and like you don't know what this means to me.
Yeah.
And it's just like very sad. I don't know.
It is very sad, but it's also and he's also like I think he does speak some French
Yeah,
and he's like trying to articulate it to her. But the whole time I can't help but picture her being like, "Huh?
yeah,
What like what, dude?"
yeah. And then Paul goes back to the front, and he's killed trying to capture a butterfly.
Yeah, I
Do you
get
get
it.
it?
Yeah, I get it. I don't know. Like I love the music during that scene. It's just kind of like this very subtle score kind of piping in.
Yeah.
Um
It almost feels like it's like somebody's playing it like
it does,
in
yeah.
like of like a couple yards away or whatever.
Yes. And I think that adds to the somberness of it, but also it just feels a little meh. Like
Okay.
um I, I'm sure there are people who felt heavily impacted by it. Like it does feel like this culmination of the film and this deeply sad moment, but he's reaching for a butterfly and then he gets shot. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just feels a little bit like, all right.
It's one of those endings where it's like I do like the ending, and I think it feels just sort of like you're just kind of like okay. Um
Yeah.
which I think is
It's not bad, but that is how I feel. I feel a little like, whew, all right.
yeah. Um because war shatters all possibility for beauty in the world.
Yeah, I got it.
Did the Thin Red Line do it better like 60 years later? A little
Dude,
bit.
dude, thin red line. Dude, can we I can't wait to start our TRL cast.
If we watched a minute of or even like 10 seconds of Thin Red Line and did an episode on 10 seconds of every 10 seconds, I actually do think we'd have very interesting conversations.
I listen, we can give it a shot, but I don't know. How long can you break down 10 seconds for?
What if I got my hands on the 9 hour cut where George Clooney actually has like 2 hours of screen time?
If you could, that would be amazing. Does that exist? Can you find that?
No, I don't
Or it
think
doesn't
so.
exist?
I don't
Damn.
think so. Any final thoughts on All Quiet on the Western Front?
Yeah, go see Thin Red Line.
Go see Thin Red Line.
And watch this too. You should still watch this. I think it's worth your time. I think they were just it feels more of a good for its time type of film.
So there's a Blu-ray that came out like over 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, that has a silent version of this movie because Lewis Milestone shot basically like I guess back to back. Like he had two cameras running. One was for the sound version of this movie, and one was for the silent version. Because back in 1930,
Huh.
not all theaters supported sound yet. It was still relatively obviously new. Um, so I'd actually be interested. Like this movie feels like maybe it's better experienced visually,
I would be curious to
and like even
watch that cut.
yeah, and even like the acting might actually hold up better, and like kind of like because the times this movie fails, I think, is when it's vocalizing stuff.
Yeah. And
It's
some of
not.
the
I don't think it's
acting is a little
bad.
hammy.
A little hammy. So maybe the silent version would like be more interesting to watch if anybody is able to track it down.
I'd be that piques my curiosity.
Yeah, but I think this is a great movie. I think everybody should watch it. Would you like to hear the other nominees for 1931?
Am I gonna know any of these
You're
things?
gonna know every single one because these are your four other favorite movies.
I can't wait. Please enlighten me.
So first up, another nominee for Outstanding Production. We only have five this year, including All Quiet on the Western Front.
The five movies that were made this year.
Five movies that were made this year.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Broadway Melody, which was the year before this, there was like 1,500 nominees, right? Am I crazy? Am I misremembering?
I thought there was only like four.
Okay. I just feel like, I don't know, the year is just, they really swivel on how many there are, how many nominees there are.
The fact that we're only 365 days removed temporally from Broadway Melody to All Quiet on the Western Front is insane to me.
Talk about a jump in quality. They really
Yeah,
figured some shit out in
absolutely.
that year.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So first up, we have a George W. Hill picture. It is called The Big House,
Jail.
and it is about Kent Marlowe, who is sent to prison after being convicted of manslaughter for a drunk driving accident.
Huh.
And in prison, he meets vicious, incarcerated figures who are planning an escape from the brutal conditions. That sounds fun.
Sounds kind of lit. Yeah.
I love a prison escape movie.
I like the idea of a prison escape movie from 1930. Like, what were they? How are they escaping prison?
Yeah.
They
Great
probably
question.
were using spoons and whatnot.
Yeah, 100%.
Curious.
Next up, we have Disraeli.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you've heard this one.
Well, I've heard of, is it Disraeli Gears? Is it, oh, who's got that album? Is that Depeche Mode? Give me 9 seconds.
Yeah, I'll give you 9 seconds.
It's a Cream album.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So not sure how that connects, but there you have it.
Cash rules everything around me. Directed by Alfred E. Green. Disraeli is about Prime Minister of Great
Al
Britain,
Green.
Benjamin
Sorry,
Disraeli.
sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. I'm gonna cut you off. Al Green, you said?
This was directed by Al Green.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, continue.
Um, and it's about Prime Minister of Great Britain, Benjamin Disraeli, who outwits the subterfuge of the Russians and chicanery. How do you say that word?
Yeah, chicanery.
Chicanery at
Yeah.
home in order to secure the purchase of the Suez Canal. Sounds boring.
Pass.
No thanks,
No,
Mr.
thank you.
Hanks.
Listen to Sunshine of Your Love instead.
Hard agree.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a movie. No, we covered the gay divorcee one year. This
Oh,
is just the divorcee.
I gotta make sure that's on my list because I have to watch the gay divorcee.
Directed by Robert Z. Leonard. These guys were obsessed with having a middle initial.
Wait, so there's the divorcee, and then someone said we need a gay version, and they said let's
100%.
make the
Yeah, they
gay
were. Yeah,
divorcee.
yeah,
Got it. I do think that's special.
yeah. When a woman discovers that her husband has been unfaithful, she decides to pay him back in kind.
Uh, that's the full synopsis.
Yeah.
It doesn't say how she decides to. Okay, and we'll leave it at that.
And finally,
Yeah.
we have an Ernst Lubitsch film. He's a very famous director who I've seen none of his films. None of them. This is The Love Parade,
Nice.
which is about the queen of mythical Slovenia who marries a courtier who finds his new life unsatisfying.
Sounds sad.
I'm sorry, you're not crying.
That's you're not giving me much to go off of. I mean, Lubitsch can. I'm curious to know what his touch is like, what the Lubitsch touch feels like, but I'm not getting much from this,
Okay.
and
Uh,
I'll probably never see it. Sorry, Ernst.
I'll see some Lubitsch movies. I don't know if I'll see this one. We'll see. Maybe this is like one of his best, and we just don't know.
We just don't know.
But those are the nominees.
Wonderful, splendid.
Do you think All Quiet on the Western Front is Best Picture worthy?
Yeah, I do. I think it feels like a statement for its time. I do like that. I mean, we've said this before on the show that it's nice when a movie captures the year that it was produced in, and I do think this does a good job of that. Like this
Yeah,
feels like 1930.
totally.
This feels like it's encapsulating a lot of things and sentiments that people were feeling at the time.
Yeah, I agree. I think this movie is great. I think it's really impressive, really well made, very moving, and very relevant. Fucking
Nice. No, no, take the whole goddamn show over because
very relevant to the times that we live in today and now.
yes, yes, yes. But honestly, I don't care.
Really.
I don't care what you have to say. I listened to myself in the mirror this morning and I didn't care what I had to say either. I thought it was garbage. I thought it was
Okay.
trash. So I took to the internet
Beautiful.
and I found some reviews that folks have posted online for this film.
Okay.
The 1930 version, not the remake. Have you seen the remake?
No, I heard it was like cool and well made, but like was like fine as a movie.
Then pass.
Yeah, right? Like who cares?
These are some reviews that I found on the internet for the 1930 version of All Quiet on the Western Front, but I'd like to preserve their anonymity. So, can I get a fake name for somebody who's just watched The Prestige moments
Hmm.
ago?
Finn Wolfhard.
Good poll. Finn Wolfhard says 3.5 stars. Christopher Nolan definitely busted a nut to these practical effects at least once in his life, and I have to imagine that's true.
He probably loves this movie.
There are a lot of great practical effects in this, a lot of like real-time explosions that I think are impressively done.
There's even one shot like when they're marching near the end of the movie where like I think it's right after the three guys like sleep with those French women where they're marching and then like explosions started going off. It seems like they blow up like a church or something,
Yes,
right?
that
And it
yeah,
crumbles to the ground. I'm like, holy shit.
that's actually the moment where I became more tuned into the practical effects. Like me and my modern sentiments, I kind of disregard stuff like that. Like I don't necessarily have a natural eye for it. But when that happened, I was like, oh shit, this is really impressive stuff.
Yeah.
And then it kind of locked me into that for the rest of the movie. I was like, oh, we got explosions, we got gunfire, we got like dirt busting up,
Yeah.
some cool effects in this movie. Give me the name of somebody who's just really confused and indecisive.
Franz Kafka.
Okay. Franz Kafka says half a star. Quite a powerful film. Fucked me up, yo. Incredibly impressive for a film that's almost 100 years old.
But half a star?
Half a star. Speaking of half stars, I got one more poor review for you.
Okay.
Sorry. But give me the name of somebody who's just a real, just disappointed, just deflated, just demoralized, just feeling low.
Jerry Tittle.
Jerry fucking Tittle says, half a star. These actors fucking blow.
Wow.
I, as a semi-professional actor, check me out.
Give me a fucking break.
Parentheses, Jerry Tittle. I'm not going to say his real name, but he does drop his real name. Would have been a far better had I been cast. A hard watch, just constantly thinking about how I, once again, as a semi professional actor, would have done a much better job. The awful acting really took me away from the plot, and in all honesty, I'd rather relive my wife and kids leaving me. Please come back, Sharon, than watch this shit movie again. I have to imagine he's being a little bit facetious on this review, perhaps not necessarily telling the truth. I don't know if he's a semi-pro actor, but I'll look him up and I'll let you know. But
Yeah.
maybe recast the fucking movie with this guy. Actually, okay. Yeah, there's no records of this man.
Yeah. Are those all the reviews?
That's every review that's ever been written about this film.
Well, thank you for those.
Thank you for you.
Thank you for you.
Shut the hell up.
Come
Stop.
on.
Enough.
Next week we're going to talk about the 2016 Best Picture winner, a Tom McCarthy picture. And you better get Anna Giacometti. Fuck. You better get Anna Giacometti on the phone because it's Spotlight.
Wow. Spotlight. Gotta get right. It's just a spotlight.
Another Tubi joint.
Let's go.
So don't spend any money. Yeah, it'll be fun. That movie's great. I'm excited to rewatch it. Well, not excited. That movie's kind of a bummer, but until next time.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever find yourself in a pond,
yeah,
on the border between the battlefield and French ladies,
and
they're hungry and you're wet.
Oh no.
You're in a pond, as I said.
Yeah, right.
And they're not showing you any interest whatsoever.
They wouldn't be. Why would they?
Flash them a dog.
Excuse?
A Frankfurter. Not your Frankfurter.
Oh, okay.
One that you have in your back pocket and your ass.
Huh.
And if they don't like that,
I won't.
Put some mustard and ketchup on it. And they'll be like, wait, I know there was ketchup and mustard.
That's what they're gonna say.
That's what they'll say.
3 French women on a bank of a pond are gonna say, I didn't know there was ketchup and mustard.
Like, I didn't know. Like, it was kind of gross when you pulled it out of wherever you pulled it out of, but now there's freaking garnish on that.
Come on up.
Then you float in your bowl of relish and onions. You have a whole toppings bar. You got hot fudge if anybody wants to get kooky with it.
Why would you have hot fudge? This is all in the bowl?
This is all in the pond.
It's disgusting. You're supposed to be bathing.
And then you'll attract their attention and maybe you'll get lucky after you've both had your fill of Frankfurters.
You lucky dog.
And then you could tell them that it was our idea that got you lucky.
Yeah.
And pass it on. And we'll see you next week. Wieners.
1, 2, 3, 4. These boys only want the best stuff. They want the cream of the crop. They don't want none of that Michael Bay shit. They want the shit that bops. Oscar bait, black and white. Maybe something French. If it's got more than one explosion, honey, put that shit on the bench. Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners. These boys are the Oscar Wieners.